everyone. I've gotten some requests lately about making caramel sauce, so I thought I'd make you a little video to show you how to make it. Alright, so here I've got a small saucepan and I've got all my ingredients all ready to go. It's really important to have your ingredients ready, or otherwise known as your mise en place, together when you're making caramel sauce. So this is 1 cup of sugar. To this pan, I'm also going to be adding 1/3 cup of water. And then when you're cooking sugar to make things like caramel, you need to have some sort of acidulant. Now, usually I prefer to use corn syrup or lemon juice, but I don't have a lemon or I don't have any corn syrup here at home. So I'm actually adding just a tiny pinch of citric acid. The job an acidulant is going to do is it's going to keep this sugar from crystallizing. So what I'm doing before I turn on the heat is I am drawing just a little kind of an asterisk, if you will, through my pot here, just to moisten that sugar. The goal is to not swish it so hard that it's up on the sides of the pan. So now I'm just going to let this cook, and I'm going to not stir it. So this water has now come up to a pretty steady boil, and you'll see in the center part here there's just a little bit of sugar that's sticking to the bottom of the pan here and not quite dissolving it. So I'm gently just coaxing that along. You don't actually want to stir it, because if it gets up onto the sides of these pans, what's going to happen is the sugar is going to crystallize on the side of the pan. And if that happens, it can fall back into the sugar mixture on the bottom here, and it can cause the sugar to crystallize, which will then make a big crystally clumpy mess. And if that happens, the best thing to do is to just check it out and start again. Once it's been boiling for a while, you're going to be tempted to stir it. You're going to see lots of bubbles starting to appear, but resist the temptations. It's tough to wait. But we're really just waiting for it to get to that 300 degrees Fahrenheit when it's going to start caramelizing. Okay, so as this is coming more and more to a boil, you can see in this corner over here, it's starting to brown a little bit. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to draw that darker sugar that's starting to caramelize across the pan so that it evenly distributes the heat. Okay, so it's kind of blonde at the moment here. Alright, we're getting to that point where it's starting to get fully caramel color. It's starting to get that really nice golden color. It's a little bit lighter than I like to do it still, but I'm just turning my heat down slightly, more to a medium heat, so that it doesn't turn too fast on me. And once it gets this really nice golden caramel color, it's about where I like. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. Now you have to be very careful with this. It's going to sputter, it's going to steam, and you're going to want to stir this constantly. Make sure you use a long enough handled spoon. I like to use a wooden spoon for this best. Please try not to use plastic, it will melt. Alright, see how that's nice and bubbly there? And then this is the other dangerous part, 1 cup of heavy cream. It's getting really bubbly here. Just watch out for steam. And I'm going to start slowly stirring it to watch my hands and my face. The one thing you want to do is once you add that cream, you want to make sure you return it all to a boil. And that's going to help melt out any of that sugar that may have caused a lump in there. All right, if you still have lumps at the end of this, don't worry, you can strain it and strain those lumps out. It will be fine. All right, so finally I shut the heat off and I'm going to stir in my salt. I felt like being fancy today, so I've got a little bit of Malden sea salt. I'm just going to stir that in. And there we have it, some beautiful caramel. Now I'm going to let this sit on my stovetop to cool. I do have a glass jar to put it in, but there's no sense in rushing this caramel sauce into the jar while the pan and everything is still hot. We're going to let it cool just slightly down from that 300 and something degrees Fahrenheit. And there you have it, rich, delicious caramel sauce.